Hello, patriots. Welcome back to the Conservative Crows, where we discuss the current government's actions and policies that we believe are detrimental to our constitutional republic and the American way of life. Today, we're diving into a topic that might challenge the perception of your freedom in America. So, I want you to have an open mind, sit back, and consider what is going on around us. This is not a conspiracy theory. You can see this happening for yourself. Let's talk about why some argue that Americans aren't truly as free as we might think. Let's start with the great outdoors. Want to enjoy the thrill of hunting or fishing? Well, you better have that hunting and fishing license in your pocket. And the government is going to tell you how much you can hunt and how many fish you can catch and what size. Even owning a boat comes with its own set of paperwork. What about that gun to hunt with? Better fill out all the government paperwork to buy it. Don't forget to get your background check. And always be prepared for the ATF to come knocking on your door if you buy too many guns or buy any accessories for the gun that they think you shouldn't have. And driving? Yep, you'll need a license for that too. You had better always have that driver's license on you in case you are walking down the street, and the police just randomly want to stop and ID you. Let's say you want to start a business. Well, you have to have a business license for that. You must have permits to sell. The government tells you what posters you have to display if you have employees. These are just a few examples. I'm sure you know of more license and permits American citizens are required to have to function. Think about it. When every aspect of your life is governed by licenses and permits, it makes you wonder about the true extent of freedom. If you have to have licenses and/or permits for everything you do, you are basically having to get the government's permission to do anything, and license and permits can be taken away if the government chooses to do so. Is that freedom? Ever thought about building your dream home or adding a cozy extension? Surprise! You need a permit for that. While safety regulations are crucial, the sheer number of hoops one must jump through can feel like a limit on personal freedom. What if you want to buy land and get away from it all? Well, you had better check with your local agencies to see what you can and cannot do on your own property. What if you own land and want to build a pond? Not without an EPA permit. According to the government, rainwater belongs to them. It makes you question whether the concept of property ownership is as straightforward as it seems.
In 2011, Andy Johnson obtained all the necessary government paperwork before building this stock pond on his 8-acre ranch in Wyoming.
He worked with the state, the local government, got all the sign-offs he needed, and created a pond in his front yard.
And since we've built the stock pond, not only does our livestock benefit from it, but we've had eagles, we've had blue heron.
Former federal regulator Ray Cagle Jr. insists the pond benefited the environment.
It had the added benefit of creating quite a bit of nice habitat for fisheries, wildlife, waterfowl, and wetlands in general that were created because of the pond.
Johnson says it even filtered the water from 6 Mile Creek that he was using and made it cleaner. But none of that was good enough for the Army Corps of Engineers or the Environmental Protection Agency. The EPA demanded that Johnson dismantle the pond in 30 days in the dead of Wyoming winter or face serious fines, because they said he'd done serious wrong. Jonathan Wood of the Pacific Legal Foundation.
He should have asked their permission first, and for having not done so, they demanded he remove the environmentally beneficial pond or pay up to $20 million in potential fines.
The EPA has came in and threatened to take everything that we've ever known.
More than his money was on the line.
Almost every environmental statute includes criminal provisions, so you could go to jail and face criminal fines for things that most of us take for granted on our own property, like moving dirt from one place to another.
The potential fines were about $37,500 a day and piled up into the millions because Johnson ended up in a long, hard fight against the feds.
We suffered many sleepless nights. We're still fighting the battle.
Johnson and his lawyers announced in 2015 they were suing the government over its treatment of the Johnson family.
And seeing what the EPA is doing to this family, it made me so angry.
How much power do we want to give unelected, unaccountable bureaucrats? The government has incredible leverage over you. They can ruin your life and ruin your family's future if you don't do whatever they say. That's why it was extremely brave of him to fight back and say, no, you've exceeded your power. I haven't done anything.
As you can see, the government will come after you if you don't adhere to their regulations and control. They govern through fear. Is that freedom? Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, taxes. We've got income tax, sales tax, property tax, sin tax, county and local tax, and the list goes on. Those are just some of the taxes working Americans pay. What about our savings? Oh, don't forget tax on interest and capital gains tax. And what happens if a beloved family member dies and leaves me some assets? Well, then you have estate and inheritance taxes or death tax. What if I want to work for myself? Then you have to pay self-employment tax. Okay, let's say I just want to buy some property. Well, don't forget about those real estate and property taxes. What if I want to take a drive and clear my head? Well, the gas you're buying has an 18.3 cent per gallon excise tax. Not only do we have taxes, but we also have a different type of tax called user fees, which is charged on services such as airline tickets, rental cars, toll roads, utilities, hotel rooms, etc. Now, there's some special taxes out there for you sinful people that might enjoy a drink every once in a while, or like to smoke or vape or do something really crazy like drink a soda. We have the sin tax. That's an extra tax on these types of items as a way the government can discourage people from these types of activities. Taxing U.S. citizens actually began during the Civil War as a means for the government to fund the war, but that was temporary. Taxing citizens' income was officially enacted in 1913 with the 16th Amendment. Coincidentally, that's also when the Federal Reserve was formed. How did America even survive without taxing its citizens to death before that? Most of the income was derived from tariffs on domestic and international goods. While taxes are supposed to be for funding public services and providing essential services to its citizens, it seems our government spends it on whatever they want, without your consent, whether that's funding foreign countries like Ukraine, spending millions of dollars studying the sex habits of rabbits, etc. It was reported in December 2023 by Senator Rand Paul in his Festivus report that there has been over $900 billion in government waste. So, our intricate web of taxation can make you feel like you're working not just for yourself, but for the wasteful, narcissistic government as well. Is that true freedom? Now, let's shift our focus to the watchful eyes that are practically everywhere. There's cameras on stop-light poles, buildings, and even in our pockets. They're always watching you. Not only are they watching us, but they are also listening to all your conversations on your phones. Law enforcement and intelligence services in the U.S. possess technology to remotely activate the microphones in cell phones, in order to listen to conversations that take place. Not only that, but if they want, they can use your device to locate you and collect data on you. While the intent might be public safety, it raises concerns about privacy and the boundary between security and individual freedom. Don't forget about what happened during the COVID pandemic. The government told you to wear masks, told you to take mandatory shots, and a lot of people, including military personnel, lost their jobs if they refused. You had to have a shot card to travel. You were told to stay 6 feet away from other people. Most places even had 6-foot markers on the floor to tell you where to stand. The government shut down the economy, shutting down businesses, people lost their jobs, and they even told people to go home and not to come out, which they called mandatory self-isolation. And there were citizens who were arrested if caught outdoors or even if their kids were caught visiting neighbors' kids. Is that American freedom? Let's look at freedom of speech, which is covered by the First Amendment. If you're conservative and have traditional values, you better not say anything negative to the woke crowd or liberals.
What a great honor to be able to introduce for the first.
Even if their actions go against your beliefs.
Okay. Oh, you crazy.
It could be labeled as hate speech or racism or worse. Don't preach the gospel on a street corner. While gay pride is going on, you will be arrested even though it's protected by the Constitution's right to free speech and right to religion.
Looks like some more men just showed up to support us. This cop's gonna give them a hard time.
God, let them have it. This is public property with respect. Oh, I'm respecting it. Let them have their event. You know who's cheering for us? The people that are in hell. So you do you, and I'm going to do me. This is public property. You. God is not Grab this one, your brother.
And there he goes, and Damon finds himself in cuffs. So I wanted to talk to Damon here about what happened and what was said there. I mean, there you can see in the video, it is very short interaction.
A street preacher armed with a speaker, a microphone, and a camera strapped to his chest is now banned from the village, the Pride Parade, and any event related to Pride Month after being arrested yesterday during a commotion here.
Told them to block the sidewalk. What did I do?
Back up.
I'm back up. I'm with him. Back up.
Lynn was then put in handcuffs. The charge, disturbing the peace.
Don't try to peacefully assemble and raise grievances against your government. You will be shut down and/or arrested unless it fits the government's narrative. Do you still call that American freedom? What about the future? Well, in Biden's infrastructure bill passed in 2021, it is mandated that all vehicles starting in 2026 have mandatory in-car breathalyzers in them. If it detects alcohol, you can't start your car. If the in-car sensors detect alcohol while driving, it will take over your steering wheel, shut your vehicle down, and notify authorities. Your vehicle will take pictures of you and let authorities know your location. Now you're probably thinking, well, isn't that a good thing? Keeping drunk drivers off the road? Not really, and here's why. You still have a reasonable right to privacy in your vehicle. And under the Fourth Amendment, you are still secure from unreasonable search and seizure. It has been argued that this device can cause more accidents than it stops. Plus, let's say you're just driving a friend home that has had too much to drink. What happens if the detector senses your friend's alcohol levels? This is just more government control and overreach. For more information from the Hampton Law Firm on this mandatory device being installed in vehicle, check out the link in the description below. In conclusion, I've only just scratched the surface of all the different controls our government puts on its citizens. I can't possibly list every controlling thing our government is doing, but you get the idea. Our forefathers left England for less restrictions than this. It's important to question and reflect on the layers of control that surround us. Are these measures necessary for a functioning society, or do they impede our individual freedoms and liberties? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, stay safe, stay informed, and let your voices be heard. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more thought-provoking content. Thank you for watching, and until next time, this is the Conservative Crows signing off.